All right. Welcome back to REMCO Real Talk Season 2.
I appreciate you having me on.
We got John Terebey here from the leader of the TRT Terebey Relocation Team.
That's it.
So happy to have you, man.
It, man.
I think you also found a place to have your podcast.
Well, dude, I found the people that are certainly going to set it up. This thing's
awesome.
pretty sweet. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So we'll start here, with a little background. I mean, we've been utilizing Sweet Recording Studio for about 2 years. This is the third year in a new location. Joe and his team, they do an excellent job. And B2B podcasting has really helped REMCO get their name out there as the business insurance broker with a nationwide reach. So I love what podcasting has done. The B2B space is very niche, and I'm excited for TRT bringing that on.
Dude, I appreciate you even having me. You're doing an awesome job online. And this is like, I literally have the space inside of our office that this is what I want to do. It's just been trying to find the right person that can actually connect the dots and like get it all set up. So I'm pretty excited about it.
So we're happy to be here. So John, I will start with your personality-driven way of networking and personality-driven way of marketing yourself on social media. You have a way of always being yourself, attracting a wide range of individuals, and then also pitching your amazing product. So when it comes down to networking, we'll start with networking, and then we'll get into the social media. Tell us a little bit about why you do what you do with the events that you host.
So I guess like the biggest thing, right? So like when I started real estate, I've been in the business for like 13, 14 years now. Okay. Like my biggest pet peeve was that like, as a young professional, like I got my license when I was 18 years old, and it was such a challenge because every single time that I went out, like I could not find people that I connected with, right? So it was like I very much like went to work, and then like I would go out with my friends, and like that was like, you know, kind of how I kept myself sane while trying to keep up with the business. And then I would like see all my friends because like from where I grew up, like basically everybody went to college, went to the city, and like they got jobs in the city.
Where was that? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in West Windsor.
West Windsor, gotcha.
Yep. So everybody went off to school. Once they graduated college, went into the city, their parents moved out, right? So like when they were in the city, they had all these happy hours, they had a blast, and like work was such a fun environment. Like people enjoyed working. Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to do, and I really, spend a lot of time, is like I want to be able to attract really fun, vibrant people into my ethos, right? You don't have to be on my team, right? But like it takes two to tango on every single transaction. So like I'm all about getting out into the community, talking to agents, finding people that like mesh with my personality, people that are doing volume, right? Because now you can ideate with them, right? You get information, you know what's going on. My team now has a number of different people that they can connect with. So like everything I do, I want to make sure if I'm going to show up that I'm going to have a fun time.
I love that.
And if I'm going to have a fun time, then other people will have fun.
You almost seem like you're having the most fun at your events, which is the best part.
But, like this is all I do, right? I just work 24/7.
But it's not where I saw a guy at the gym this morning, and he's like, what do you got going on today? I got there a little earlier because I knew I had this and some other stuff to check, boxes to check. And he's like, what do you got going on the rest of the day? He's like, I got work. He's like, you know what? Every time you say you got work, you always seem like you're happy about it. I'm like, yeah, I actually like what I'm doing. Like, what am I really going to do? I'm going to go to Jersey. I'm going to have 2 podcasts with back-to-back guests. Then I'm going to go home, and I'm going to grind it out some more. Yeah. But I love what I do, and I think that that's amazing to be able to. It is important. It is. And your events, I will say, you leave no stone unturned. I mean, they're lavish. I mean, let's be honest. I get an invite from John. First of all, you do a great job inviting us, and you do a great job of just remembering who your people are that actually bring that energy. Yep. Right. And I get an invite from John, and I'm like moving things around. I'm like, I gotta make sure I get to this.
So the way I thought about it, right, is like I want to be able to throw an event that people are like, if I didn't go, I missed out on something. Yeah. Right. And so like when you do that, right, now when I get into the luxury space, and you really need those agents to show up for you, they know that if you put together a great event, you're not going to miss that event. Right. So that's important to me. And then the other thing too is like, look, I don't get like a boatload of enjoyment of like sitting on like a bunch of money in my bank account, right? So if I'm going to go out and I'm going to go have fun and go meet people, like I'd rather spend my money there and like really enjoy it rather than going to buy like a new bag that, I just get, right?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like a new polo or a new, like that I don't get enjoyment out of that,
Absolutely.
right? I want to do things with people and bring everybody together. And like when you build that environment, you could build off the backs of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the quality is there. The relationships are there at these events. You feel like it doesn't feel like work. And I think almost similar to what you actually just encountered today by meeting somebody who's going to help you with your podcast.
Yes.
That's how the relationships work, right?
Yep.
You're like, oh, I'm going, I haven't seen Jay in a little bit. We're going to go out to, New Jersey. We're going to do a podcast, but then boom, there's something of value.
Yeah.
And that's the best
I
feeling.
tell that to my team all the time, right? So like we're doing a ton with like we do a boatload with like the PBA. We do a lot, like we're trying to break into Mercer County and really get involved with the community, right? And like I tell everybody on my team, right? You don't just walk in and be like, hey, I'm a realtor. Would you like to sell your house? Like it comes off the wrong way.
Yeah, hey,
right?
trust me, I don't know you.
Yeah. So it's like you go in and you always try and provide value. You try and connect the dots. You figure out where people are having problems in their business, right? And you work to solve problems. Now, if they trust you and they see that you've been able to actually get their problem to the finish line, right? Get that solved, that you're the guy that they can lean on, because there's a lot of people that just let you down, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So if you could solve that problem for them in an efficient, effective way, right? Now they're going to turn to you for everything that they have, right? And then real estate will be one facet of that.
Agreed. So that was the networking side, but the social media side, I love the way that you hit all the boxes with you share your team content.
Yep.
I love that. We'll get into the team approach as well, because I'm very curious from an operational standpoint too, like how you manage your team. I think that that's very important for any of the viewers who are in real estate or in the financial industry as a whole.
Yeah.
But the content that you post on social, what is your process for posting? Do you have a process?
So Jangis really handles everything for us.
Okay.
He was fantastic. He's like one of the best hires that I've had. He was somebody that literally went out and was just, I was paying to get content from, right? And he would show up. He had a great attitude. It was not like you had to rush in and out. He took his time with us. And I was like, look, like this is somebody that I want to bring onto our team.
Gotcha.
Right. And now one of the things that we're also trying to do is we just opened up TRT Media Group. And now we're trying to basically allow our team to help other agents build their platform and everything like that. Because it's tough to find somebody that creates good content.
Absolutely.
Right? And then with the team, right? Like we're there helping them with all of their listings. We're helping them build their own personal brands, right? They should go out and they should be the center of their own personal ethos, right? My goal is to allow them to build.
They need to be.
And to grow.
They need to be. If you want it to feel authentic, and I actually struggled with this in the beginning because insurance wasn't my first, industry. Marketing was never even something that I considered I had to do, but I learned. But I realized I can't hire somebody to do this.
Yeah.
If I'm wearing the brand on my chest, if REMCO is, who I am as a person, I need to actually be the advocate for that.
Totally agree.
For it to sell
Yeah.
to the community.
They want you.
They want you. They want you. But and then it's also passing off those values and those ways of doing business to your team to try to replicate. This is our mission. This is our process. This is how we do things at TRT.
Yep. So everything we have is all client centric, right? We want to go the extra mile, right? Like, I think a lot of people look in and just the way we kind of present our content and things like that, like we're a little bit more of like a luxury brand. But again, if you look at like our sales history, right, we help everybody, right? Sure. We've got transactions that are $50,000 all the way up to $3 million, right?
Interesting.
So like what I want to be able to do is provide that level of service for everybody. Right. Like everybody deserves a seat at our table. Right. That was the biggest thing my dad ingrained in me at like such a young age. Yeah. Is like everybody deserves to be represented and represented the right way. Right. So even if it's a check, my first deal ever in this business was $28,000. I think I made $400 or $500. Right. Yeah. But it's like, again, it was like really impactful for him. He moved out of the city to get back with his, get closer to his family because he had late leukemia that unfortunately he was not able to survive it, right? But he just wanted to spend time with his family, and that's what he could afford.
That's amazing,
right? Who am I to be like, no, I'm too good for that?
I think you get so involved in just another transaction, you forget the actual meaning behind what you do.
I tell everybody on the team, like, you don't stop just trying to sell houses to make money, right? Like, again, if you're going to be in the business for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, Why do you have to make money today?
Yeah.
Right? Build those relationships. And then again, if you just do your job the right way, people will find you and you'll do just fine.
Amazing. And correction, you are not the you're not the person that has the most fun at the parties. Your dad is.
Yeah.
He's
my
an
dad always has a good time.
awesome
Yeah,
member
yeah.
to have at those parties. But I
Yeah.
love that. And it's a family business,
Yes.
right? You know, to mention that, you know, your father instilled values in you that you are now carrying the torch and passing on to your team. I think that that's amazing. You have a great team. How large is your team now?
Right now we're at like 22 with back office.
Excellent.
Yeah. So like we're growing pretty quickly. This year, really like my number one objective is like I'm building out. I just brought on a full-time CTO, right? So he's handling everything, basically inward tech-wise, right? So like we're redoing our entire system, our CRM. We're actually we're pulling off of where we are. We're starting up a new CRM. We're building a lot more automations. We're using a lot more AI. And so he's really handling that all for us. All of our Google Suite is all going to be in one central location.
That's awesome.
So like my job is to make the realtor's job that much easier to do business.
Absolutely. Now, is that a proprietary CRM that you're building, or are you just going from one third party to another? Only because I face that in the insurance industry every day.
So what I want to do is I want like autonomy over our system. So like everything that we have, I
want to own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But no, we're using HubSpot. Like they just have like a really, really intuitive system.
Sure.
Now again, you can customize that however you'd like, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, in that sense, all of our customizations will be proprietary. But again, like ultimately, like the way that I think about it is like if I can improve our sales process, then I can go out and I can help out you or help out other agents or help out other small businesses that were facing the same challenges that I am. And I think so few and far between do people like really open up and be like, hey, you know what? I'm running a small business, but I'm having a tough time with this.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody just wants to be the best. Everybody wants to be the top.
And also everyone out there, the easier thing to do is to buy, you know, a subscription to this or a subscription to that, but to be able to have everything live in one ecosystem. So what I face is there's an agent that I got to know, he's out in North Carolina. He said, forget all these subscriptions and all these different gadgets and APIs. I'm building my own thing. And he invested a ton of money in his CRM, a ton of money. But what did he do it for? Now he has agents across the country that are integrating with his CRM. He's having them charged a monthly, you know, fee to belong to it. But he's basically essentially built his own ecosystem that now supports other agents and helps other agents stay organized. Which is no different than I think what your plan is for the industry.
I think again, like, and I have this conversation with Mark all the time, right? Like if I'm in a position where I can continue to elevate, right? Really what you're doing is you're setting the groundwork for everybody else that's coming up in the business, right? Because like there are so many different challenges that you face while trying to run the business, right? You have to be your own accountant. You have to be your own marketing agency. You have to be your own, you know, a CRM auditor, right? Like you have so many different hats that you have to wear. So like if I can organize that for people, then again, at the end of the day, my job is to make these people effective and not run into the same speed bumps that I did.
Do you and your pops ever go back and be like, hey, Dad, look at all the stuff that I have to deal with? What did you, like, you know, and compare?
So yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like, you know, my dad's done a great job and he had a fantastic personality, but like, I'm just trying to take it to like just a different level. Right. And so again, like my dad was never on systems, right? Like he was a great sales guy, right? Everybody really liked him. He always had his one-liners, right? He knew the market, he did marketing. But I'm just trying to take like, again, back in the day, this is like back when like video was coming up. I was like, Dad, we got to do video. He's like, no, we need more postcards. I'm like, Dad, come on. Like this is going.
We need those calendars. We need the calendars and the magnets for the fridge.
So a lot of it was just showing my dad that like what I wanted to do would work.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, there's a trust to it, right? But I think you have such a good outlook on that. I want to take it to the next level because as a son, you know, I feel like it would be almost a disservice if you didn't.
Yeah.
I know that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Right. But I think you're doing a great job and you're going to make him very proud. But what it is as a son, you always want to say, well, my dad got me to this far.
Yep.
I gotta raise the roof.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the things I always admired about him, right, is like when he walked into a room, everybody knew him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like he was getting awards, et cetera. Right. So I want to be able, like my goal is to be #1 in New Jersey. Right. Okay. So like I'm continuing every single day. Right now, again, there's going to be evolution. Right. McKenna's doing a fantastic job. Right. But it's like, again, there's you know, McKenna wasn't #1 in New Jersey forever, right? He built up to that place, right? So like that's what I'm doing. And I'm fortunate to have him as a mentor, to have my father as a mentor, to continue to elevate And then eventually it will be my time. It's just, will it be my time next year? Will it be my time in 5 years?
You know
I'm
what
just trying
I
to
think?
expedite
I
it.
love that. I love that hunger too.
Yeah.
I relate everything back to Rocky. I don't know why, because I'm an Italian and that's all I
Hey, fair
grew up
enough.
on. But it's like that eye of the tiger, man.
Yeah.
It's like, if you feel like you don't have it in you, you don't have it.
Yes.
But if you're hungry enough and you're willing to put the work in, you will have your time.
Yeah.
But you will be in the shadows for a long time. But that's great. I love that. I love that that motivation that you have inside you.
Yeah.
And now, in terms of the team that you have and the way that you go about coaching them, because I see a ton of content on social, you standing at a whiteboard, you instructing, you leading, you doing talks, real estate talks for other young agents and coaching them. Do you ever sometimes take a minute and say, wow, I'm actually doing this? Do you ever have those moments? Or do you feel like you're just so focused on what the next thing is?
I think if you ask the team, right, I am so focused in elevating that. Look, I think this is probably a problem of mine, right? I don't really take any time to smell the roses to be like, hey, you know what? I got to this point. But right now there's a lot of pressure, right? Unfortunately, we were terminated in October, right, from our past brokerage. So we had to move extremely quickly, right? And I dumped a lot of money into the office. I wanted to make sure it was done right? Nobody's going to hold me up, right? So hey, that's fine. If you want to part ways, I'm going to make sure that whatever I do next is going to be 10 times bigger than what I did before.
Wow.
So right now it's where the rubber meets the road, right? I invested all of this money into it. I've got to make sure it comes to fruition.
Absolutely.
So I don't take time to relax. I am just in eventually when I get to that point, again, I don't know when that is, right? And maybe that's a problem of mine. But I'm just overly dedicated. I will put everything, my blood, sweat, and tears into this until I get it to where I want it to be.
And your team members, they see that.
Yeah.
And that's why they work so hard.
Yeah.
Right. And I totally, that's a big punch that you just kind of just, dodged and kept on moving.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I've had my car stolen and I've was laughing about it, right?
Yeah.
You get terminated, set you back a little bit, but I think there's two types of people, right? I'm not you could either sit there and whine about it, or you could do something about it, right? It's just very binary,
Absolutely.
right? And so no matter what happens to me, right? It doesn't really bother me. I'm just going to keep the ball rolling because that's the only option that I have.
Good for you.
In my opinion.
No, absolutely. I think it's a great outlook. As a leader, it's the only outlook to have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to be a good environment for someone to, hang their hat and have a career.
Yeah. It's just I'm a bulldozer that's stuck in drive.
Yeah.
So you may run into an obstacle, but then you just move over and keep moving,
Yeah,
right?
Well said.
So again, I'm responsible to make sure that these people are busy.
Absolutely.
Right? So if I'm not showing up and I'm not hungry, who am I to set the precedent for everybody else? And I'm not the right team for those people.
Absolutely.
Right? So I wear that on my chest. So I make sure that I put things together for everybody.
And you do a great job with that. So when you're looking to attract young realtors, what makes somebody a good fit for TRT?
So right now we're in the process of kind of changing that up. Essentially what's happened before is as people have come into my ethos and joined my team, right? They've really enjoyed the environment. They've learned a lot. And so as they know more people getting their license, really a lot of people have joined, right? They're oh, I really love working for John. You should come work for John. You should work nowhere else, right? Now again, right? That's nice that they really appreciate what I do for them and things like that. But ultimately it can be tough, right? If you've got somebody that's just not really finding their way in the business and they can be a drag a little bit on the back office, right? Our TC, our seller side TC and our buyer side TC and Jangus, right? For me to go out and, record all of this content for somebody that's not going to go sell a house. Yeah. Is a cost,
Absolutely.
Right? So where I've been spending a lot more time, and this is really kind of dives back into setting up all of our back office. Before I leaned a lot on the brokerage for that. Now I'm leaning on myself, right? Gotcha. So there's no excuses. It's just I got to get it done. But now we're focused a lot more on numbers and really making sure, okay, great. Well, how many leads are we getting through? Of those leads, right? Who's actually following up? Who's following up? Who's not following up? What's their conversion? Who's really excelling? And now we basically, I just rolled it out to the team. If you're not doing 2 deals a quarter, your first quarter, we're going to have a conversation. Yep. Next quarter, you're going to find another team, get it together. And then look, there's no hard feelings.
Nope.
But you know, again, like if you now find yourself, you're more than welcome back on the team, right? I appreciate you as a person.
Yep.
But like financially, it just doesn't make sense on the team.
It's so important to have those numbers.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had those numbers all along?
No.
That right? So that's
why
I'm sitting here and
I think there's so many people that are like, oh, you really have to know your numbers.
And it's what numbers, man?
Well,
like,
that's a challenge, right? It's like a small business owner, right? You're beginning to elevate, and there's so many different things that you have to do, right? So like, what's more important, right? Running through like your P&L or going to go get another like 3, 4, 5 sales, right?
Yeah, great point.
And so it's like, and then from there, right? There's so many different ways that you could digest the numbers. So it's like, so many people go in. It's like you go to these big like seminars, et cetera. They're like, know your numbers, but nobody really dives in to show you what you should be looking at or what processes you will put together to make sure you have those numbers every single month.
Yes. You need time to get numbers, then to know them.
Yes.
So I laugh about it because in my industry so much, it took us actually 18 years to learn one set of numbers, and that's a piece of our business that we no longer do anymore. But we tried to do it for 18 years and we lost money. Yeah. And it was just like, you know, it took us 18 years. On our 19th year, we said, all right, maybe we should kind of pivot. Yeah. That's something we're actually really good at. So I think knowing your numbers, taking time to build your numbers. Yeah. And you bring up a good point with, am I going to go out and do 2, 3, 4 more sales, or am I going to sit here and try to, you know, cut costs so that my P&L looks good? Like P&Ls, when you first start, they're pretty scary to look at, right? You know?
So you got to put all that money in.
I'm going to live in a box down by the river. Yeah. Like, this doesn't look good.
No, I was always a proponent of like, you know, I don't have a spending problem, right? I've got a making problem. Yeah. So if I always make more than I spend, I'll be in good shape. Yeah. So that just means I got to get out and hustle. Now, again, right, as you start adding more people onto your team, you have to be a little bit more accountable, right? But again, right, like in this odd phase that I'm in, right, I'm still in production. Sure. So I have to work in the business and on the business at the same time.
Probably, and I'm just assuming, but I think I know based on your personality, with more control now, like you have, now it's like you said, now it's on me, right? Yeah. There's no really extraneous factor that's going to keep you from either being successful or failing. Yeah, yeah. Right? And that sense of pressure, I think, is going to make you, you know, it's like you're sharp enough to cut a diamond. Yeah. But I think
it's like finding good people, right? Like hires are massively important, right? And it's like
how much money would you spend on a amazing hire? If you had to put a number on it.
Dude, it's like, I mean, they're worth their weight in gold, right? So like, because again, you go in and you spend all this time and all this energy and you know, you train them, you put everything together, you run them into your system. And then when you have to terminate them, that's unfortunate, right? But if you can get somebody that like sees the vision, and again, like there's a challenge, right? Like there's some people that look at it as a job. Right, like, hey, I'm going to clock in and I'm going to clock out. It's
really
a job.
hard in that side of the business.
Yeah, where it's like, look, like a career is somebody that like wants to show up, that's excited to do more. And right now, I look, I don't know whether it's a product of like where I am or et cetera, right? I'm trying to build this culture around people that look at this as a career. Yep. And if you do that the right way, then ultimately, then they're going to be eager to want to learn every aspect. Sure. To understand it's not my business, it's our business as a team.
What I found is great is finding people that see it as a career, but then if they're that good, you know, what's your stance? And I've had a few, they end up making it their own business. They end up doing it so well, and you teaching them how to do it and replicate it, that they end up doing it on their own. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a pretty, you know, love them before I hire them, love them while I hire them, and then love them when they're gone. But sometimes it's really, really hard to be the bigger person in that situation. But I think if you taught somebody how to basically get up and open up their own agency after 4 or 5 years working with you, I think you did a good job.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So it's just an interesting feeling to have.
So when my dad had his team, he produced a bunch of top producing agents, a bunch of people that opened up their own businesses. Now,
Can you blame them?
No, not at all. But the way I think about it, right, is if anybody started their own company, right, in my opinion, I think that I did something wrong, right? Because the way that I think about it,
good point.
The way that I think about it is like, for example, right, I've got Tim on my team, one of my best friends forever, right?
Your relationship is amazing with Tim.
No, and look, we go back and forth all the time, and
some of the best content is their stuff.
Oh, dude, he was so funny the other day, right? I was telling him, I'm like, dude, I'm so excited about this avenue. Like, there's this vertical of the business that I'm really excited to grow. Yeah. And he's like, dude, like, I don't want you to like outspend the business, right? Because like I'm so dialed in. For me, it's not about money, right? It's just about growth.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll spend every dollar I have to get us to that next stage because I know that next stage is going to be really exciting for us, right? And like now you can really make a super monumental impact, right? So like that's what I'm fixated on.
And in your position, you have to be a dreamer. Like you have to see like that amazing feat that not a lot of people at your business might not see it.
I totally agree.
So yeah, back to Tim.
Yeah, but the way that I think about it, right, is like with Tim, for example, right? He's earning a great deal of money. He's been doing a fantastic job, right? But it's like you know, there's a lot of time in the sense of like putting everything together and like managing everybody. But also not only that, right? If I went out and every dollar that Tim brought into the company, I went out and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a new Ferrari or I'm going to buy a watch. And I don't have a Ferrari, right? Like the only thing I like is watches, but I bought my watches when I was younger before I started the team, right? Now I don't have any money to buy watches, so I don't have to worry about it, right? But now every dollar that we make from the team goes into building out systems that will make his job easier.
Sure.
Right? So like last year he did $40 million of volume. If I could bring him from 40 to like 60.
Only 40 million.
With doing the same amount of work, I've done a great job.
That's great.
Right? And like it's a shared cost.
And the value, making money and being profitable is great, but giving somebody who is aging in a career more time back.
Yes.
It's like, what more can you give? You know,
100%.
Now you have time outside, work-life balance, time with your family, go on a vacation. I mean, I still think that time is such an undervalued benefit.
Yeah.
That employers offer.
Well, that was even like when he came in and he like really hit the ground rolling in his first 6 months because he was on my back office.
Yeah.
Went on vacation, gave me like 1 day's heads up, and so I fired him from the back office.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was one. It was a very high tension part of our friendship.
I didn't know about that. Yeah.
But I was like, dude, you're gonna crush it selling. Like, just trust me, man. You got it.
Was he nervous to get out there and do it? Or?
I think he was just frustrated that like I fired him. Right? No, but the given, right? And I told him, I'm like, dude, I would never put you in a bad position. I know you're going to do well, and we got to take it to the next level, right? Yeah. So I love him to death, and it really worked out well for him.
Yes,
like,
it did.
In his first 6 months, he put together $15 million of volume. His next year, he did 25. His next year, he did 40, right? And he learned everything from the ground up, right? But now the goal is like when he made that 15 million. Right. And he was doing well. He was like, dude, I think this is tough, man. It's a lot of work. And I said, yeah, dude, I totally agree. I understand what you're going through. And so he's like, dude, like, I might need to find something else to do. I was like, dude, why don't we find things that you enjoy doing while you're still working? And that's what led us into getting the suite up at MetLife.
Nice.
Was because he loves football. He went to Michigan. Now, again, we're not going to go to Michigan every week, right? We'd get no work done.
Yeah.
But like giving him something and an outlet that allows him to just be him. Right. And so, like, I think when you appreciate people and you do things for people, then there's no reason to go anywhere because it's not about the dollar for me. I'm more about there's a lot of power in numbers. Yep. So ultimately, when we have a lot of top producing agents, right, like what I should be able to do for them, because if he went on his own, he'd have to hire an admin, right? He'd have the marketing expenses and things like that. So my job is to take that off of his plate, bring it down with scale because I've got other people bringing money into the business. And so we'll always be ahead of the curve.
Amazing. Now, if you were to ask him now about that decision to put him out of back office, would you guys talk about that and joke about that?
Yeah. And like, dude, he's my go-to guy whenever I think of like anything tough in the business and things like that. He's got really sound logic. He's always there just fighting to make sure that I make the right decision for myself because a lot of it is like I will make decisions for other people and I'll put myself in jeopardy to help somebody else. Yeah, right? Yeah. And so he always wants to look out for me because I'm not looking out for me. I'm looking out for everybody else, right?
That's really cool.
But yeah, man, he's enjoyed it, right? Yeah. Like now I give him a hard time because he doesn't answer my phone calls because he's always on calls, putting together deals and things like that. But I'm like, hey, man, you remember we're friends, right? Right? Yeah. So we make sure we take time. Like we did we went on a real nice trip up to Rhode Island, Newport. Nice. So it's just like making sure that you have to like take time,
but also get away.
Yes.
Like you can't really necessarily go to the Jersey Shore because you guys be looking at properties. Yes. You'd be like, which one of these are we going to sell? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Go away.
And I try and do that with the team, right? Like I want to help everybody on the team be the best version of them. Yeah. Right? Not what I want them to be, what they want to be.
From an outsider looking in, I know a lot of your team members, personally and professionally, and I think that from my perspective, they've all gotten better
Yeah.
in business and in life. And their network. So that's just a testament of what a real estate team can do for you. I mean, there's a lot of realtors out there who might be listening who are trying to do it on their own. But linking up with that team, the right team, right, can really make the difference.
Dude, I would go through and I would have a conversation because it's like literally almost like a marriage, right? Like you want to make sure that what that person says that they're gonna do, that they believe in it, right? Because it's like, okay, cool. You could also join a top producing team, but like, let's say that top producing team, the team leads 65. Well, they got to retire at some point, right? So like now you join this team, but like their goals differ from yours.
Sure.
That person has to save versus I'm willing, like I'll send it if there's a good idea.
Yeah.
Right. I want to put everybody in a winning position because I don't need to make money today. I want to position to the business to do really well for a lot of people when I'm 50.
Yeah.
Right. I got plenty of time. I'm in no rush.
No, God bless you. I think it's great. I think I forget sometimes that, the best thing you could have in this world is time.
Exactly.
So that's amazing. And I would say your team is also demographically, they're all about the same age. You guys look like just a bunch of friends who hang out.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what you wanted it
Which
to
can be good and bad at different times, right? I got to remind people that, look, it is a job. We got to get the ball rolling. But we're adding, my goal this year is to build a unbelievable foundation.
Sure.
Right. So like getting the CRM together, getting all of our systems, making sure everything's in one central location. It's organized, right? There's no lag of communication, that like we're effective on the back office. When that becomes sound, that's your foundation that I can build on top of. So I have not really spent much time recruiting at all, right? It's all been organic.
Sure.
But like once that happens, I'm going to be able to now provide a lot more value to people. From there, now people within the team will be able to look at other members within our organization
I love that.
and drive inspiration.
And then a great venue or a great spot for that is something that you normally do around the spring or the summer or the fall. I mean, I feel like a networking event or something that you host is a great way of getting people to know your team and what you're all about. So is there an event on the horizon or
We're always trying to do stuff. Right now, like I'm trying to, I'm connecting the dots more with like different organizations that we're getting a lot more involved with, right? So like, again, I encourage any of the brokers that like are competing hey, dude, we're doing a lot of fun stuff here. Come with us,
Good idea.
right? Hey, I'm getting involved here. Like, why don't we go do this? I'm trying to build everybody up around me. And I think when you do that and people begin to realize that you're genuine, you want to see them grow, it's easy to bring people on, right? And the problem is most people are looking at a P&L. They're saying, oh, you know what? We have to make more money this year, so I'm going to chop this, this, and this. My job is to never chop. I want to add. Right. And add strategically to continue to grow the team and provide value.
Yeah, it's always where's the next sale, but try to think opposite. What about all the sales I made? I think something that we've been doing quarterly, should be doing it. Honestly, I would like to do it once a month if I could, but client appreciation events, but tailoring them specifically to what your clients like.
Dude, so one of the things that we're trying to do, like on that, is like I'm in the midst. You got to come check out the office.
Yeah.
It's
I'm sure it's
sweet.
I'm sure it's awesome.
Yeah. I know I put all my soul into it, but we're gonna build a patio out back, right? And one of the things I want to do, I don't know if you've ever been down to St. Pete, but they do a First Friday.
Okay.
Right. The first Friday every month is a bar crawl. Yeah. Right now, again, we're not going to do a bar crawl, but what I want to do is I want to be able to get like cigar roller, get some drinks there, right? BYOB, have everybody come to the office.
Your HQ. Yeah. And I saw the wall. I love that art. Yeah. Like I have a vision of, but you want to make that a home.
Yes.
Where people living and breathing environment where people come and hang out.
Yeah. And like they can learn more about their business. It's not about just buying and selling houses. It's being the center of influence where people want to come.
Yep.
And like, if you're like, hey man, like I can go in and I can go connect with all these small businesses, then I want to be there.
Exactly.
Now they came, they met you. Exactly. Right now you're coming all together.
Now, similar to what I referenced about the numbers, it took time, I think, for me and possibly you to come to the realization that that's how intentional networking is done.
Yes.
Before I used to go into a room full of 500 people.
That's my biggest pet peeve. I hate doing that.
But you had to do it. That's it's a stepping stone from what I learned. Because there are people, I'm going to have a guest on shortly. I met him at one of my first networking events. Some of my very closest friends, Brendan Carey is one of my closest friends. Yep. I know Marissa's on your team. Yep. I just was at his birthday. I mean, he's one of my closest friends. I met him at my first networking event 6 years ago. Yep. So it was a stepping stone, those big events. But yes, I get like the cold sweats if I have to think I have to go to like a chamber event. But it was a stepping stone because I made some key hires. I met some good friends. I met some good clients. But now it's about thinking inversely, more intentionally, more intimate, smaller events. I love what you did with MetLife. I think that that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, for your team, but also like just making sure that you provide that extra value.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, we sell insurance, but no one really cares.
They know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like the way I think about it is you get a few people with a lot of influence, right? And when you get those few people with a lot of influence, they will connect the dots because
Yes.
you are the person they turn to.
Exactly.
Right? And so now when you get that person to be like, hey, you need something, you call him because this guy can execute,
Yep.
right? Now I'm in front of people that I would have never met at a
Sure.
networking event.
And what's that close? If you actually wanted to get to the numbers, what's the close ratio on a referral like that versus a cold call or somebody that you find at a chamber event or something
It's
like
like
that?
10x, 20x,
Yeah, it's
100x,
it's unbelievable
right?
because it's all about trust.
Yeah.
So, any end notes for the audience? This was a great segment. I really appreciate you being on here. But is there anything you wanted, anyone listening to know about TRT?
Yeah. I mean, look, if they want to get involved and see what we're all about, like, we are always trying to connect the dots with anybody that's eager to do business, a good person, looking to grow. We are more than happy to help out anybody. Like, I think, again, there's always like a sense of ego in terms of like, oh man, I don't want to reach out because I don't know what'll happen. Like, look, I'm here and I would help anybody that asks. And, I give as much time as I have to people. I think ultimately there were people that weren't able to or weren't willing to help me. So now my job is to make sure that I'm not that guy as I continue to hit like, different levels.
Absolutely.
I want to help everybody. But I think a big thing too, just in general for any business owner that owns a business, right? It's not about the dollar tomorrow, right? Understand that all that hard work you do when you put in today, right, will pay off in 20 years, right? People, underestimate what they could do today, right? But then they overestimate what they could do in a year, right?
Yeah, well said.
It's like just get in, do the right thing every single day, be consistent, and when you do that, great things will come your way.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Well, John, I appreciate you having you on REMCO Real Talk so much. It was a pleasure. I think we got some great information for those listeners, and we'll catch you at the next ones, guys. Thanks.
Appreciate it.